Alrighty, howdy neighbors and welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. Last time I found out that we were dating a guy named Rod, and he has this lovely little bunny friend named Sebi, and I love him so much. I'd rather hang out with Sebi, but anyway, let's go. Wait, where are we going? Have you forgotten, Iris? It's time for our dance lessons. We don't want to be late for introductions. Dance lessons? What are you talking about? I do not have dance lessons. What is this all of a sudden? Well, Mother thinks you should begin taking them. Father even took the liberty of inviting one of the best dance instructors to... Angel. Emmeline winks as she pushes the doors to the throne room open. Everything I had been thinking falls to pieces the moment I entered the chamber to see Rod speaking with Father and Ophelia. Rod? You're a new dance instructor. I hear he has quite the reputation in Brigantia. No need to exaggerate him. Exaggerating? Never. I speak only the truth. Ah, you're finally here, Iris. I had no time to fill you in last night, but as I'm sure Emmeline explained, Rod is officially our new royal dance instructor. I stare, baffled. Did they all know about this too? Rod clears his throat. His Majesty tells me you require instruction in traditional Brigantian dancing. His lips quirk mischievously. I imagine you have a long way to go before you can boast about your skills. I'll make you swallow those words. Good. It's the kind of spirit I like to see. Father crosses his arms and smiles. You understand then. Rod will be staying with us as a very special guest until the ball. Until the ball. What happens afterward? The mischief fades from Rod's face abruptly. He turns away, eyes distant. He's going to leave again. Iris, let's not think about that now. That's right. Let's focus on the here and now. Ophelia and Emmeline's optimism lifts my heart. Ophelia has a point. I strike the most this time. After the announcement, Father and Ophelia turn their discussion to the ball. Rod approaches me. In no time at all, his fingers are interlaced through mine. Please be patient with me, Iris. I have a plan for the future, I promise. I squeeze his hand back and nod. I hope he's right. I hope that this time, I will not have to wait long. Anxiety. God, what a mood. Chapter 2 of Anxiety. Me after work. Oh, fuck. Next day, Rod and I head out to the forest. As I anticipated, the trees are more vibrant today, and the branches weighed down by shining red apples. It's beautiful. I reached out to touch one of the apples. I think we should pick some for Emmeline. I'm sure she'd love that. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves of the trees as we take in our surroundings. The sound of birds chirping punctuates the gentle silence. Being here with Rod makes me feel at peace. For the moment, neither of us has to worry about being seen in each other's company. We can relax. This place is full of nostalgia. I look forward to our secret meetings here. Funny that we're still meeting here like this, even after so much has changed. We stand there for a few moments, savoring the peace and quiet. Then Rod slowly steps away from me and holds out his hand. May I have this dance? Of course. Two of us never needed music to dance. So that was good. I made a good choice at some point. Huh? Somewhere over there. He closed my eyes and leaned my head against his chest, relishing the feeling of his closeness. It has been a long time since we danced like this, but I have the movements memorized. It is easy to slide back into routine. Later, when the sun sinks below the horizon, Rod turns to me. I like how even the text color changes. That's fun. As much as I enjoy this, I think we should head back. He smiles. Our dance lessons are about to start, and we unfortunately need a bigger space for them. I take his arm when he offers it. So apple picking, and then we return to the palace. Rod nods. Rod? Thank you for suggesting this break. Anything for you, Iris. The next day. God, it's like flashbanging. The next day, Father officially introduces Rod as our dance instructor. The atmosphere causes quite a stir. And soon all the servants are talking about him. It isn't long before the gossip spreads through Angel. Most of what people are saying is positive. Seems Rod does have quite the reputation. It's amazing that Rod has made a name for himself in so short a time. I hope he overhears these conversations and is proud of himself. I certainly am. I am on my way to throne room when I hear one such conversation between two maids. Where are your eyes? Well, you know what this reminds me of? Allow me to be a nerd real quick. There's one manga series, and it's Alice in the Country of. The one I have is Alice in the Country of Joker. They have like a group of people, and they're called the Faceless. Like they do have faces, but they're like horribly like faded. That's what this reminds me of. Anyway, so what do you think of the new dance instructor? He looks to have a stern demeanor, but I'm sure maybe he's secretly a charmer. They giggle. I'm impressed someone so young has earned such prestige in Brigantia. I can only imagine how talented he must be. And he's handsome to boot. I wonder what he looks like when he smiles. He always has such a scowl on his face. Do they never tire of gossiping? But it's strange, isn't it? Sir Rod has visited the palace many times before. I wonder why. Oh? I suppose he's courting Princess Emmeline. They seem very close. Oh, maybe you're right. I nearly choke on my own breath and have to put a hand in my mouth to keep from laughing. You know what's strange, though? The fact that they look so similar. That is rather odd. Do you think he could be courting Princess Iris? I think. Whatever we hear, Princess Iris has never expressed interest in any of her suitors. Well, I guess I am grateful no one has caught on to that tidbit of gossip, at least. Shake my head as I make my way to the throne room. Rod and Emmeline look up in unison as I step inside. Emmeline immediately shoves her hands behind her back and smiles at me. It is a strange, strained smile. Hello, Iris. Are you okay? Of course, why wouldn't I be? Her voice actually squeaks, and I'm unsure of whether to be confused or concerned. I raise an eyebrow. Rod gives Emmeline a gentle nudge. Aren't you going to be late for your piano lessons, Em? Oh, you're right. I'll see you both later. Emmeline makes a beeline for the door, only slow as she gets closer to me. She turns and, obviously hiding something behind her back, continues to sidestep toward the door. You're acting strange. It's just your imagination. last thing to leave her mouth before she exits is an excruciatingly awkward laugh. Rod looks like he's trying not to cringe. Emmeline is a terrible liar. What's that about? What are you talking about? It's always Emmeline is hiding something. I owe in on this too. Some said it's just imagination. The two of us may as well be engaged in a heated staring competition. Guess we know her. Fine. I assume whatever this is will come to light one way or another. I do not like it when I'm kept in the dark, but I doubt either of them could ever be hiding anything harmful, so I'll let it go for now. Rod turns on his heel, heading to a nearby table to look at his music sheets. The table is new. Father had placed it here for our lessons. So, have you heard the latest gossip? Rod groans. Please tell me you're not actually interested in that. I assure you this gossip is a little more entertaining. How so? I heard a rumor you were recording Emmeline today. Rod stares at me in horror. I laugh at his reaction. You're just messing with me. No, it's the truth. Who started this rumor? They not realize how ridiculous it is. Rod pinches the bridge of his nose. Why did it have to be M? There's nothing about you. I suppose we have no chemistry. That just means our acting is impeccable. How much longer are we going to pretend, Rod? It's been 2 years. We made this wish so we don't have to hide. So why are we still doing this? Rod looks away, eyes distant. Are you still afraid people will think you're unworthy because you're a commoner? Rod flinches. That's what Mother went through after marrying the king. I know it must have been a difficult transition, but Ophelia is well loved. I look at him, perplexed. I was scared you would have to go through the same thing as Ophelia. I don't care what people say about me. I'm concerned about what they'll say about you. Rod, you already know I don't care what others say about me. I'm no stranger to shutting people out. I've lived most of my life being hated by this kingdom, Rod. I think I can handle myself just fine. You're right. Maybe it is me after all. Rod. Rod abruptly shrugs, as if shrinking the worry from his shoulders. Let's not talk about this right now. I just remembered something I wanted to discuss with you. Oh, what's this all of a sudden? What's your ring size? Oh, it's with the last letter you sent me. Oh right, I suppose it sounded very angry in the letter, but... How did you even read it? I sent it out 3 days before you arrived. Emmeline retrieved it from the messenger before it was sent out. He frowns. I read it. I see you're still mad at me for making that wish. Oh no. I fucked up. Can I not be? Sacrificed so much only to leave. You know the reason I made that wish, Iris. Yes, I know. But that does not mean I cannot regret it on your behalf. Before, we made the decision to hide together. Now you've made it so that you are the one who must sacrifice everything. It is not anger but sadness that causes sparks to jump from my fingertips. Close my eyes and take deep breaths to calm myself. You're right. Fine. When I open my eyes again, the sparks are gone. Rod sighs. I wanted this, Iris. Not just for you, but for myself too. Being a prince was a constant reminder of how much I lied to the world about who I was. With this wish, I started living a life crafted by my own hands. But I could say anything. Rod had closed the distance between us and pressed his lips to mine, effectively cutting off my words. Afterward, he pulled back and looked me right in the eyes, his face flushed. It strikes me that this has happened more than a few times. Why do you always do that so suddenly? Rod grumbles and shrugs. It's always the easiest way to get you to stop talking. Anyway. I love you, Iris. I will do anything for you. No matter what happens in the future. I know I will never regret this wish. None of the maids saw that, goddamn. Ross puts a hand on my shoulder and squeezes. Stop worrying about all this, okay? I promise it'll work out. I cannot promise, but I'll certainly try. It's good enough for me. Now, reaches for my hand and places a kiss on the back of it. Shall I continue where we left off yesterday? I smile and place my other hand on his shoulder. We shall. Now that's a lovely CG. The past few days, Rod has been teaching me one of the Brigantine dances he learned. This dance in particular is full of energy and involves a lot of twirling and side steps. Rod leads me into spin after spin. We have become comfortable enough dancing with each other that we do not need to focus on our steps when we move. I'm glad, because it allows me to focus on his serene expression. Is there something on my face? I shake my head. Nothing but your wonderful smile. I was just thinking how much I miss dancing with you. Same here. But now we can do it every day. Yes, only I was long will every day last. By the time the song had stopped, I was almost out of breath. A job well done, Iris. You still need to practice your footwork, but you're learning quickly. Rod leads me to a chair and hands me a glass of water. Thank you. I gulped down at least half the glass before facing Rod. The dance was exhausting. How were you not out of breath? Had a lot of practice. Just get used to the steps. They become cathartic. You just need to build stamina. It's a dance that suits Brigantians, though. They're very lively. I look at Rod, curious. Can you tell me more about life in Brigantia? Rod seems to ponder quietly for a few moments. Then, after some consideration, he pulls out a chair and sits beside me. He begins by telling me how difficult life was for him in the beginning, especially given that he had never left the kingdom before. He was constantly homesick, but Claude and his family were able to lighten that burden by being overly accommodating. At first it was overwhelming. Eventually, however, Rod became accustomed to the royal family's enthusiasm. He tells me very briefly about them. When he brings up Lance, Claude's brother, I cannot but wonder. I have spoken to Lance a few times. He seems more cordial than Claude, but I do not know him well. I wonder what he was like. Rod crossed his arms. Being a student was easier than being a teacher. Back when I lived here, all I needed to do was study. Might not have been good at most of my classwork, but at least it was straightforward work. Really? Emmeline told me once you were a fast learner. She said you knew how to sing, dance, cook. Rod flushes. I excelled at those things because I enjoyed them, not because I was a good student. I looked at him curious. I've never heard you sing or watched you cook. Rod shrugs. Dancing is the easiest way for me to express myself when I lost my voice. Now, it feels like the most natural thing to focus on. But traditional classwork has never come easy to me. You know, for real, classwork sucks. And here I thought the only thing you were bad at was expressing your feelings. Red's cheeks turn an endearing shade of pink as he scowls at me. You are the worst. He sighs and glances out the window at some distant sight. So what are you bad at then? Why would you ask me that? I'm curious. I have to promise not to laugh. I won't. Rod stares down at his hands and sighs. History, politics, fencing, remembering dates and names, and combat. Yo, valid though. My swordsmanship is atrocious. Mine too. There's a clear distress in Rod's eyes when he confesses this to me. His usual stoic facade is broken. The Rod I see before me looks vulnerable and anxious. I can't help but smile. Why are you smiling? I'm always happy when you open up to me. It makes you feel like I'm part of your life. Then from now on, I'll make sure to tell you even the little things. I would love that. You have to do it in turn, bitch. Once my dance lessons were over, I head back to my room to practice creating simple potions. It is a solitary task when I normally practice in my free time. However, probably because I'm always so bored during the experiments. I spoke groggily, realizing blatantly that I had fallen asleep at my desk. I need to turn this motherfucker down. Damn, okay. There we go. I sit up groggily, realizing blatantly that I had fallen asleep at my desk. Various potion ingredients lay scattered on the surface. I stare at the clock. It's already the next day. How in the world did I sleep through last night's dinner? A knock sounds at the door. Your Highness, Your Majesty requires your presence in the throne room. Understood. What do you want from me so early in the morning? Father is seated on his throne as I enter. Rod stands before him. Good morning, Iris. Good morning, Father. I approach warily. I called you here for an important announcement. Rod, would you like to take the honors? I'm surprised with the glowing smile on Rod's face. I've officially asked permission from His Majesty to court you! Woo! We've been courted, baby! Oh, God. Hell yeah. I stare between the two of them with wide eyes. Where did this happen? Last night. You're already asleep, so I thought it's best to wait till morning to tell you. I turned my baffled gaze to Rod, who was still smiling. Thought about what you said. I agree. It's time we stop hiding. There's no reason for it anymore. I moved before I could think. In a heartbeat, I have my arms wrapped around Rod's waist and my head on his shoulders. It feels as if a momentous weight has suddenly lifted from my shoulders. There's no more hiding. Which means I no longer have to hide my affection for him. News of our courtship spread like wildfire. I was accustomed to gossip and was unfazed by the attention. But I could tell Rod was unnerved by the sudden spotlight. Still, we both did our best to continue our daily routines. I did notice, however, that Rod was has become busier in recent days. He tells me he has been meeting with Father about important matters. I figured it is about the upcoming ball. I have just finished my dance lesson for the day. The Rod is meeting with Father in the throne room. I have no such obligations except to return to my room to read up on potion making. I'm passing by the dining hall when I paused, hearing a voice inside. Because he was so embarrassed, he ended up running away. I hear laughter. I feel the sense like Rod. Those voices. I push open the door to the hall. Ophelia and Emmeline look up as I enter. I'm shocked to see Sebi there, too, sitting on Emmeline's shoulder. Before, Rod and Sebi were inseparable, but ever since Rod returned, I barely see them together. I wonder why. Oh, hello, Iris. Perfect time, we were just talking about... Emily cups her hands over her mouth. Casts a... surreptitious look over my shoulder, then whispers. Rod. Obviously. Ophelia beckons me over to the table, and turns back to Sebi. So, what about after that? He refused to step out of his room for a whole day. The others asked after him. He feigned sickness. Emmeline sighs. Why didn't he just refuse the gifts? Probably because most of them were from noblewomen, and refusing outright would have been insulting. What about these gifts to noblewomen? I was just telling everyone how popular Rod is with the Burgundian noblewomen. He was sent various gifts from young women on Heart's Day. But because he didn't want to refuse them, he avoided everyone altogether by staying in his room. I didn't realize I'm glaring until Ophelia placed a hand on my arm. Iris? I forced the scowl from my face immediately, not even sure why I was there in the first place. No need to worry, Princess. He had told them he was in love with someone else. I feel my face heat at his words. Aw, you're blushing. Shut up. Emmeline. That's even your real name. It's probably not, but whatever. I'm not. I promised to look after Rod, and I intend to keep that promise. And that goes for you too, Princess. After drive away 100 women, I'll do it. Thought of a tiny plush bunny attempting to scare off a gaggle of girls makes you laugh. Before I knew it, I became absorbed in the conversation. Hours later, when our conversation winds down, we went back to my room to read my potions book. Today, I'm going to the March-In for one of my magic lessons. Or at least that was the plan. Just yesterday, however, I received a letter from Parfait, saying that there was a change of plans. Everyone at the March-In had decided to throw a small celebration for Rod and me. At first, Rod seemed reluctant to go, but he cannot refuse after Parfait personally requested his presence. In the end, the two of us agreed to go by carriage. Rod is already standing by the carriage when I arrive. I smile when our eyes meet, but Rod only nods, his mind seemingly elsewhere. I immediately notice the dark circles under his eyes. Everything alright? I'm fine. Just getting much sleep last night. I was up reading the King's books far past midnight. The King's books. I found out only a few days ago that Father started lending Rod specific study materials. Apparently, these books were meant to teach Rod more about the policies and rules governing our kingdom. I hope you are not overworking yourself. Rod smiles. It's a tired but thankfully reassuring smile. I'm not. He holds out a hand and helps me into the carriage. No sooner did we arrive in town than some of the townsfolk, noticing the royal carriage, began to wave at us. The response was uplifting. Before the masses avoided me. Now things are different. Things first began to change when I made a public apology after breaking my curse. The townsfolk were at first skeptical on whether or not I would follow my mother's footsteps as the Tenebra bearer, but their trust began to grow and I started dispelling fairy tale curses. Princess! Sup faces. Look at the window and see a little boy running to keep pace with the carriage. Can I give you something? A gift, please? Order the carriage to stop and step out. The boy flashes a toothy grin. Then, without any preamble, he holds out a lily. I got this for you, Princess. I take the flower from him with a gentle smile. Thank you. The boy clasps his hands behind his back and smiles shyly. Someday, I'll become a prince and marry you. I'm simultaneously bemused and taken aback by the confession. I appreciate your gift, but I'm afraid I'm already courting a prince. I gesture to Rod, who stands behind me and the carriage. The boy blinks. But he's not a real prince, right? That doesn't matter. You don't need to be a prince to marry a princess. Rod up is silent the whole time, suddenly starts speaking. Not being a prince just means you have to work a little harder. The boy's eyes seem to shine with hope at the prospect. And I'll work hard too, so I can live in a palace someday. Rod's responding smile is wan. He suddenly looks incredibly tired. We should leave, Iris. They're waiting for us. I give the boy a heartfelt thanks before stepping back into the carriage. Work harder. Rod mumbles to himself as he stares solemnly down at the floor. Rod, you're alright. He looks up suddenly, as if I've startled him from his thoughts. Yes, I'm fine. He speaks weakly before turning his attention back to the view outside of the window. Something definitely seems off about him. Anise! It's Iris, Rod, welcome! Anise is the first to welcome us when we arrived at the Marchen. It was soon I stepped aside, however, that another person makes herself known. It is everyone's favorite princess. Chevalier's smile is as sunny as always. He steps forward and sweeps into a courteous bow. It's been a while, Princess Iris. That it has. Hello, Chevalier. Ever since Chevalier's curse was broken, he's been working at his clinic. Gone is the tenacious flirt that I used to know. In his place is an optimistic doctor, who still makes ill-timed jokes. He was surrounded by people. Rod stands awkwardly at the center of the room, surrounded by Chevalier, Anise, Delora, and Parfait. Waltz is sitting away from the commotion, leaning on the armrest with a grin on his face. Parfait's cousin, Sina, is seated by the window, reading a book. He has not greeted us either. Oh, hello, Delora! My oh my! Maybe this is just my imagination, but... Delora raised an eyebrow. Her Royal Highness is looking particularly buoyant today. And are your cheeks red? What? Delora, you shouldn't tease Iris so much. Hi, Parfait. Parfait beams. Being able to flaunt one's love is always a thing to celebrate. Delora looks at him and snorts. Who are you? What have you done with the princess? I still can't believe you fell in love. I bristle at the words. Not as if this is news. And anyway, what is that supposed to mean, Delora? Sorry, Princess. You're just too much fun to tease. But in all seriousness, I'm glad you found someone just as stubborn as you to cherish. I'm standing right here. Delora turns her grin to Rod. You must have some magic of your own, being able to melt the Ice Princess's heart. Come on, Delora, you're embarrassing them. They make it far too easy, Parfait. Rod turns away with a grumble, arms crossed. Chevalier breaks the momentary silence with an easygoing laugh. It really is a pleasure to see you again, Sir Rod. I haven't seen you since you left for Brigantia the first time. I believe the last time you were... He pauses, considering. Well, you're much shorter. But now look at you, you're almost as tall as the rest of us. He reaches out, as if to set a hand on Rod's head. But Rod pulls away with a grimace. What do you mean almost as tall? Waltz reportedly clears his throat and steps between Rod and Chevalier. How are things in the palace lately? His expression softens. I could tell he is relieved by the change of subject. Alright. Busier than normal, but that is oh my god, can I learn how to read? Please, I beg. If anyone has any connections, let me know. God. Alright, busier than normal. That's to be expected with the news. Chevalier steps forward and squints at us in turn. What? There are dark circles under your eyes. You've been under more stress lately. Rod raises an eyebrow. Due to impede on someone else's space. Oh, my apologies. Chevalier takes a step back. And I'm fine. Chevalier is quiet. You can tell by the wrinkle between his eyebrows that he's unconvinced. If you say anything else, you decide to offer my own opinion. He says he is fine, he doesn't want to be under it, so... He's been busy, is all. He's working as a dance instructor and taking lessons with the king. Your concern is unwarranted and unnecessary. God damn, Rod, take a minute. Chevalier smiles. Sorry, I am, by my nature, a worrier. It's true. Chevalier takes his work seriously. A little too seriously, in my opinion. Lady Delora, I'm only trying to keep my patients healthy. He shakes his head. Anyway, I'm relieved I'm just overthinking this. I lean closer to Rod and whisper in his ear as the conversation carries on. You are not allowed to overwork yourself. Understood? Rod sighs. Understood. He smiles, but does not reach his eyes. Somewhere nearby, a book snaps shut. Must all of you be so loud? Oh, hi. Sin approaches, book tucked under his arm. I swear a person can't read in peace in this place. He stalks out of the room with a glare fixed on his face. There is silence for a few moments when he leaves. Then, Chevalier laughs. The tiny lord is lively as ever. Tiny lord. Why does he come up with the strangest nicknames? I guess that's one way of describing him. He may seem temperamental, but I assure you... Cinnamon? His name is Cinnamon. That is fantastic. It's quite pleasant once you get to know him. So it's Parfait, Cinnamon, and Anise. God damn it. I glanced at Rod. Seems like a certain someone I know. This is nothing. Even as I watched, she stifles a yawn. He has look glassy. Think how many hours of sleep did you get last night? An hour or two? Rod, you're definitely pushing yourself too hard. Chevalier was right. You should take better care of yourself. I know you. You always push yourself. Rod shakes his head. Never mind, it's nothing. What? I know there's something on your mind, Rod. Yeah, good. Rod responds with a smile. When I continue to scowl at him, he plants a kiss on my forehead. Stop that. It's always nothing important. Don't worry. Have some rest when we get back to the palace. Fine. Though not all of the old boarders are present today, decide to make the most of a small reunion. Aeneas prepares a small meal for dinner, and the gathering is lively. Shame Sir Garland and Lady Jurian couldn't be here. It's been months since we last saw Prince Claude. The knights wanted me to apologize on their behalf. They have been busy training new recruits. And last time Claude wrote, he said he was busy with his duties. I doubt he'll be free anytime soon. Lady still sends letters every so often. I do rather miss having Miss Karma, too. Chevalier groans. Think for yourself. Miss Karma was always staring daggers at me. With good reason. Lady Delora. Parfait laughs. I'm sure we'll get the chance to have bigger reunions soon. Conversation goes on, but I notice one person has remained quiet throughout. Rod has not spoken a word since we started eating. Because he's tired, stressed, or is there something else on his mind? I hope I can get to the root of whatever it is soon. No More Secrets, Chapter 3. That's the biggest lie I've ever heard. When we returned to the palace last night, Rod immediately retired to bed. I was up all night thinking about him, and how strange he had been acting. I'm resolved to pry some answers from him today, which is why I'm standing outside the throne room, waiting for him to finish his lessons with Emmeline. My heart sinks with Emmeline exits with a gloomy expression on her face. Something happened. Rod was exhausted. Here's what I intend to find out. Whatever it is, I'm sure you'll figure it out. I hope so. Emmeline gives me a confident pat on the shoulder as I enter. Inside, Rod is standing by the window, his back to me. Rod. Turns to face me, he looks downtrodden. It's enough to make my heart sink. Oh, Iris. May I speak with you? A long pause before he nods. I said this yesterday as well, but you do not seem well when we were having lunch at the Marchen. Are you alright? I'm fine. You keep saying that, and I know it is not true. And I know it's not the truth. Do you trust me so little? His expression shudders. Never. I trust you with my life, Iris. Never want you to talk to me. I move closer, close enough to examine his face. The dark circles are still there, and I can tell from his rigid posture that he's tense. Were you up again last night? I thought you said you were going to rest early. I had to go to bed early, but falling asleep was another thing entirely. What kept you awake? I just have a lot on my mind. Is there anything I can do to help? Rod shakes his head. Thank you for worrying about me, Iris. This is something I need to sort out myself. It's not that I don't trust you, I just don't have the right words yet. You need to stop pushing yourself, Rod. We all have our limits. Rod stiffens. I know that, but I didn't sacrifice everything just to hit a wall like this. He offers a feeble smile. You know what? You're right. Maybe the rest will do me some good. I'll see you later, Iris. He heads to the doors, shoulders slouched beneath an invisible weight as he exits. A sudden solitude falls on my shoulders like a cold blanket. I wish suddenly with all my heart that he had never made that wish. Rod seems to only become more frazzled over the next couple of days. There's been no improvement in his condition. Everyone tells me he's exhausted. His exhaustion stems from the stress he is under to meet everyone else's expectations, and that he just needs to become accustomed to them. But he says that every day and there's still no change. This can't go on. I'm worrying about his health. I force myself to stop pacing. If he's not worried about himself, then perhaps I ought to make this about me. I can tell him that my worry for him makes it impossible for me to focus on anything. Don't do that. I to myself and, mind made up, walk out of the room to find Rod. I was in the palace, but though my search is extensive, Rod is nowhere to be found. Where is he? I'm just about to turn the bend of the corridor when Emmeline suddenly appears. Oh, Iris. Emmeline. I've heard you've been asking around about Rod. Yes, do you know where he is? Emmeline crossed her arms and regards me thoughtfully. I do. Let's talk in private. Talk in private? Why? I concede, regardless of my confusion. We can talk in my room. I'll order some tea to be delivered. On my command, the maids prepare and serve us biscuits and tea. I dismissed them once they set everything on the table, and turned to Emmeline expectantly. So? Why are we having a private discussion? What's about Rod? I'm sure you knew that. Don't tell me I told you anything, okay? I won't tell, I promise. Emmeline smiles, looking a little defeated. He's in the forest today, and he'll be there until sunset. The forest, what is he doing there? Well? Emmeline's eyes flit to the biscuits on her plate. She fidgets, looking uncertain. It's okay, you don't have to tell me. I'll find out myself. Sorry. I just have some idea why he's acting so strange. Rod says he trusts me, but I assume there are some things he feels more comfortable telling Emmeline. They're siblings after all. Emmeline hesitates for a moment before answering. I do, but not because he willingly told me about it. Emmeline sips absently at her tea. You know how Rod is. He can be so secretive when it comes to his own matters. That's a severe understatement. Except for not saying anything. I didn't want to put myself between the two of you. I know this is a personal matter. So are you telling me where I can find Rod now? I've seen his exhaustion, same as you, and I'm worried about him. He won't listen to me, so I'm hoping he'll listen to you. Does Ophelia know? Yes and no. Mother knows he's stressed, but I doubt she knows how much he's been pushing himself. I sigh and set down my cup. Thank you for telling me this, Emmeline. Emmeline smiles. Good luck, Iris. After Emmeline excused herself, I head out to search for Rod in the forest. And with that, I'm going to end this episode here. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully, I will see you later.